latest game in Codemasters' Race Driver series, Grid is a polished and expansive entry into the racing genre. The series has long put the emphasis on making the driver, rather than the cars, the star of the show. And though Grid still offers you the chance to travel the world as a racing driver, the emphasis is firmly back on the racing itself. Grid splits its racing between 3 geographical locations, with Europe, the US and Japan each representing an assortment of racing styles. Europe features track-based racing. The US is much more focused on populated locations. Japan is clearly influenced by the underground street racing scene. Each of these locations demands different vehicles. Europe features touring and GT cars, the US has muscle cars such as Vipers and Mustangs, and Japan has tricked-out Nissans and Subarus. The main aim of the Grid World mode is to earn money to increase your ranking and buy new vehicles. You'll be paid for winning races, playing at harder difficulty levels, earning sponsorship bonuses, and being part of a winning team. As with many racing games, you need a selection of vehicle types in order to enter different racing events, and you can buy cars either brand new or second-hand on eBay Motors. It's a rare example of in-game advertising done right. One thing that Grid doesn't focus on is upgrading vehicle components. Instead of buying new engines and the like, you'll just sell your old cars and buy something better online. The simple upgrade system and accessible racing style mean that Grid is more of an arcade-style racing game than a sim. That said, the game is incredibly challenging, and the opponent AI will happily smash you into walls. Likewise, head-on collisions will write you out of a race completely, and perhaps because of this, Codemasters has implemented a new feature called the flashback system, which lets you rewind time and correct any disastrous mistakes. Your chosen difficulty level determines the number of flashbacks at your disposal, and there's a cash incentive at the end of each race for not using the feature. Racing purists may well balk at this concept, but it's completely up to the player to choose whether to use flashbacks in the game.
You've lost your front wing.
Grid's controls feel light, responsive and even quite forgiving, but the damage model and challenging AI can make for quite a few difficult first races. Minor bumps and crashes will do little to impact the performance of your vehicle, however major incidents will have a more drastic effect on your ability to race. Your vehicle might pull to one side or lose speed or acceleration, or even worse, it will just fail completely. Once you're aware of these obstacles, Grid becomes an enjoyably edge-of-your-seat racing experience. Grid's greatest achievement is the driver AI, which does a fantastic job of replicating the behaviour of real-world racers. Grid's drivers move in a choreographed formation at the beginning of each race, but they begin to take risks and make mistakes as they try to get to the front of the pack. There are also distinct racing styles between teams and drivers. Race leaders will guard their positions closely, whereas those at the back will cautiously slow down and try to go around you if you spin out. Whichever difficulty level you choose to play at, they're a clever and challenging bunch to race against. On the multiplayer side, Grid offers support for 12 players connected online or via a local area network. All of the racing events from the single-player game can be played online, including Demolition Derbies and Le Mans, but the game modes are fairly limited, with only ranked, player or private matches to choose from. As both an extension and a rewrite of the Race Driver series, Grid is a wildly successful progression of Codemasters' art. It may not feature the customization of Forza 2, and it doesn't have the diversity of online modes of something like Project Gotham Racing 4, but as an alternative to arcade races such as Need for Speed and Juiced, Grid is both an accessible and rewarding first step in what we hope will be an ongoing franchise.